You're home. You're rocking the red. I saw you had the red tie on last night. And just been downers these last two games, even though it felt like last night they dominated.
They dominated last night. I mean, they were the better team. That's what concerns me. Game 3, you just chalk it up to Tampa was better. You know, I mean, you got two Obies on either side, Kucherov and Stamkos. Anyone that wants to put blame on Holtby is just crazy. Those are two perfect shots. So Tampa wins Game 3. Last night concerns me because the Caps were the better team pretty much all night. They scored the first goal. To me, that's where the game totally changed. You score that first goal, the crowd is bananas at that point. And the team that had scored first had won each of the first 3 games. And you give that goal up 70 seconds later as Wes Johnson is announcing the Orlov goal. You give a goal up, and then not even 3 minutes later, you give up another one. That's where you just couldn't have that happen. You had to ride that momentum, and they didn't. Some bad mistakes, and all of a sudden they're chasing.
Yeah, and another huge issue, Rob, is the fact that Vasilevskiy has awoken after looking like he was asleep in the first 2 games where he allowed 10 goals, and the Caps were peppering him again last night. Couldn't solve him. Hopefully he reverts back to Game 1 and 2 form as the series shifts back to Tampa, because if he keeps saving 94+% of the shots, I think the Caps are going to have a tough time winning this series.
Yeah, I literally woke up 4 times in the middle of the night screaming about that Connolly save. The one Steven right in front, and I mean, the puck was halfway into the net, and he just sort of reacted. I don't even know that he saw it as much as he just sort of hoped where it was, and he knocked it out of midair, and that's the one that, like I said, I literally jumped up 4 times and thought, it's in! And it just wasn't. He was great. I mean, this is why he was pretty much for the first, 55, 60 games of the season, he was the odds-on favorite for the Vezina. I mean, he played out of his mind this year. And it got away from him for a while during the regular season. They clinched early. I mean, we've seen this over the last couple of years when you sort of peak too soon and everyone just sort of, takes a lull in the regular season, and he is back on his game. But if you look at it, and we watched all the highlights, Al and I during the post-game show last night, there's a ton of shots with no traffic in front. The Orlov goal, there was a ton of traffic, and it almost snuck past him, and hunts down the rebound and gets back to Orlov. It was just a bullet. But after that, it was a lot of shots with clear vision. Mm-hmm. And when you've got an elite goalie who can see the puck the whole way, that's not how it's supposed to happen. So they need a lot more traffic in front like they had the first couple of games.
And then, with the penalty kill, we thought that was a weakness for the Lightning, but last night it wasn't. We had the 3 power plays there in the first period, couldn't get anything that passed Vasilevskiy. That could be the great equalizer, man. Just having you can outplay a team, but if you have a stone wall there, you can't get pucks by them. Right, but we also can't make dumb mistakes. Lars Eller made some dumb mistakes last night, and you cannot give them that edge.
For as good as he was in the first 2, a bad couple of games at home. I mean, we were all sort of joking around like, Nick, who needs Backstrom after games 1 and 2 because Lars was so good. And, again, Alan brought up a good point on our Caps Extra podcast last night. At some point, guys, and the term he used was tap out. At some point, you tap out. You players have sort of a maximum of the minutes that they can play, and then you sort of tap out and revert to who you are. So Lars is a really good third-line center. He found his home on this team, where he didn't in all his years being moved around in Montreal. But he's a really good third-line center. He's playing against top 6 guys. And, he got exploited. I would imagine Backstrom goes back with Oshie, and I would think Brana on that second line. I'm kind of surprised I didn't go back to that earlier in the game last night.
Right.
But a buddy of mine who, like all DC sports fans, the text you should see from him as he rides the wave of emotion throughout a game are borderline hilarious if it wasn't you watching a guy's brain melt down.
Right.
And he said if Tampa Bay goes on to win the cup, they should etch Lars Eller's name onto it because of how much he's helped them. You know, like it was killing him watching Lars make these mistakes.
How'd you feel that Backstrom played last night? Got about 19 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're going to play him 19 minutes, then put him at the second line. I mean, if you're worried about his conditioning or the hand, hide him a little bit, then you go with the third line. But if you're going to play him 19 minutes, and he looked pretty good. I mean, it had a really good chance in front at one point. I mean, I thought he was fine. I actually thought he was better than I was anticipating. So I'd be stunned if he's not back with Oshie tomorrow night, and Eller, doesn't go back to where things were going well. So I thought he was perfectly fine last night.